Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. You are watching Splash Pages, and shockingly, I'm back. Jar Jar and myself, we were at a con for a couple weeks, and, today's going to be a fun episode. And without further ado, Velvet, how's it going?
Good evening, everyone. It's your man, Velvet J, and we're here in another award-winning Splash Pages. We have 2 weeks of news, so we're chock full of stuff, and we have a new young artist to interview today that we're going to learn about in a few minutes. So I'm going to toss it on over to my friend, Carrie Sanders.
Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I get to be me tonight instead of being Leo. And Ratatosker is with, and we're so excited to have this guest on tonight. It's going to be a great show. So stay tuned, and let's go see Drew.
Wake up.
What? Is it time? It's a show? Okay. All right. I'm ready. I'm good. Okay. Hi, everybody. So I overslept, but we have a great show planned. Great artist. Everything is wonderful, and creator, and he's just a delight already. And without further ado, everybody, writer, artist, all around great guy, Brandon Cable, everyone.
Hello, everyone. I'm Brandon. I am the creator of Rat Night, which is the, subject matter of, or one of the subject matters of tonight. Let's get the party started.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. Carrie, do you have some images of Rat Night, or should I just share the screen?
You go ahead and share screen. The images I have are different. So
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pull it up here. And a bunch of people watching, so definitely, place some questions in the comments. We're going to be talking about Rat Night for a little bit, but also some comic book news as well. And
Absolutely.
so, Brandon, tell us a little bit. What is Rat Night?
Well, that is a very excellent question. So I guess we got to go back to the very beginning in order for me to explain Rat Night. Now, before anybody who's new to this character says, oh, it's just Batman as a rat, hold your horses. It's a little different than that. So we got to go back to the almost very, very beginning. So
Okay.
The art school that I attended, called the Institute of Art and Design at New England College up in New Hampshire, we have an art collective, a collective in a whole art school. We call ourselves the Society of Unified Artists. For short, our acronym name was SUA, which kind of sounds like sewer with a Boston accent.
Mm-hmm.
During early winter 2022, we were having Zoom meetings, planning our spring semester for our events and stuff. We do cool stuff like we done a gallery from inside of a U-Haul truck. We did like a projector gallery show where we project our artwork on the side of one of our academic buildings.
Mm-hmm.
So we were planning some events and stuff for the spring 2022 semester. And one of the last meetings that we had, one of our members' father came in because this was all on Zoom. So he listened and he's like, you guys should have rats as your mascot, considering that sewer sounds like sewer. And we all laughed at the idea and stuff. And we all at first came up with the idea like, hey, what if we all made like a comic series of rats? No, wait. What if they were superheroes? And then we came up with the idea that they all sort of center around an art-based medium. So during in college was comic arts, and then have illustration, graphic design, sculpture, all that stuff. So each rat would, center around that particular art medium. And so when I instantly fell in love with the idea. So right after the meeting ended, I came up with Rat Night, which honestly didn't take that long. It was just, I was just thinking of, what could he look like? So I don't want to go for bright colors and stuff. I don't want to go for like the generic design. So I thought, and then sort of like, well, what if Batman looks like a rat? What would that look like? So I came up with the sketch, and honestly, I had it on the first go. And I hate to do this, but actually, if you excuse me, I can show
Oh my
you.
God, where did he go? Clearly, he's a Batman.
Here is the very first illustration I've ever done of Rat Knight.
There you go. Yeah,
January.
frame that, man.
Yep. Well, this is my. Well, first of all, yeah, January 28th, 2022. But yeah, this was my my sketchbook for my. So Rat Knight was my senior project.
Mm-hmm.
Was the whole like book and stuff.
Dude, did you get an A or did you get a B?
It was a pass-fail situation. So if you finish the project, you passed. So
okay.
Anyway, so continuing on with the origin. Yeah, I just came up with the design. I was trying to come up with the name Rat Knight, and I was like, originally I was going to call him Night Rat. No, okay, just Night Rat. But then I flipped it around, and it sounded cooler. Only reason I didn't do that is because we actually had an event at my college called Rat Night, like where we watched like Rat Night, like to the time of day, and we watch movies like Flushed Away, Ratatouille, Ratatouille. There's a throwback.
Huh.
And, so I didn't want to confuse it with that, but it's like, nah, Rat Night just sounds cooler, and kind of playing in on that Batman parody.
Right.
And I ended up being the only one in my collective that ended up, taking this idea. I wouldn't say seriously, but I saw so much potential with it that I went with it. And once, I realized, I'm kind of on my own with this, then I kind of took it in my own direction. Like I kind of moved away from the idea of art-based superpowers, because originally they were going to stop stuff like their villains would represent stuff like plagiarism, art blocks, nowadays AI. But so that's kind of what ended up happening. So I did my own thing with it, and yeah, that's sort of how it all began. So
Brandon, it sounds like in the beginning, it's almost like you and your, I guess, collective were kind of viewing this kind of in a parody, satire kind of way, kind of like what the Tick cartoon and comic used to do, and then you took it in a more serious direction. Because when I was reading it, I definitely got that Batman Year One, kind of like the 80s, slightly gritty, but not, definitely with maybe splashes of kind of a, like the narration in the beginning kind of gave me a Rorschach from Watchmen kind of vibe. So the question I have is, when you started this project, were you already a fan of Batman, or did you kind of have to study up to find your voice?
I've been pretty much a fan of Batman all my life, more seriously towards late middle school.
Okay.
Now, this is probably going to shock a lot of people, but I am not the most avid comic book reader. Like I have like a small collection of stuff. Like I know, all the characters and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I'm familiar with most like a majority of comic book storylines and stuff. Mm-hmm. But Batman Year One did play an inspiration for this. When I started it, this wasn't going to be my senior project initially. I had a few other ideas tossing around in my head, but when I started making Rat Knight comic strips in one of my classes, and everybody loved it so much, they thought, Brandon, this is your senior project right here, and I actually was like, well, you know what? I already kind of see potential for this, so that's kind of how it all started. And then trying to figure out, all right, so how do I do this at least as one issue? How do I tell a whole story in one issue? And so, yeah, I did lean on Batman Year One as because every comic that I've made so far is all within continuity. It's all in a canon. Mm-hmm. So the earliest, before this, I did some early stuff, which are scattered throughout my Instagram. Mm-hmm. I call those the Rat Knight Chronicles. So they're just little bits and pieces of early stories. One was the origin comic, which was an Alex Ross inspired, by the Superman, Peace on Earth, and Batman War on Crime, trying to tell origin in that style. Right. The next one, I wanted to have some fun with it and try a vintage style with it. Mm-hmm. Probably one of the most eye-catching things of the whole thing. So I did that, and everybody was like, "Yeah, you got it now. You got it." Mm-hmm. Because it also it just works because at that point, so it's never said in the book, but the story takes place in September 1983. And at that point, the best of my knowledge, comic books, at that point, mainstream was kind of dying down a little bit to the point where independent artists were kind of coming in, of course, with Eastman and Laird with the Ninja Turtles. They were sort of, and of course, Frank Miller's work was starting to shine through. So this I felt like was like a perfect, like a perfect, I want to say representation, but like Rat Knight could perfectly fit in with the early 80s.
Yeah. And now with that context, because now that we know that the Turtles, Eastman and the Laird's Turtles would come out in 1984, because I saw your nod to that in the first issue,
Exactly.
when you guys are, talking Turtles. Yeah, it definitely had that. And I also noticed you kind of had like an 80s grid, 4 or 5 panels ish. Definitely had that. I could definitely see your inspiration with how David Mazzucchelli did the story arcs in, or at least page layouts in year 1. But like I said, the diary-ness, which I know is very prominent in year 1 because it's Batman's first year, it also, the self-referential almost had a, like I said before, a Rorschach-ian kind of approach to it. I mean, you weren't, talking about, the scum going into the sewers, but at the same time, I was like, were there any other inspirations, or primarily did you just stick to Batman?
Well, also Batman, The Long Halloween. So those elements, telling the story in Rat Knight's early days.
Right.
This is month 7, where like The Long Halloween takes place in year 2.
Right.
But even though, yes, I already brought it up, but as an inspiration, but actually Ninja Turtles #1 is probably the biggest inspiration. One, because of just the concept, it's just so bizarre. Because Ninja Turtles is a parody of Daredevil,
right?
Just like Rat Knight's a parody of Batman. But the story structure is mainly heavily inspired by TMNT. You're introduced to the character, you learn in it. The origin in this is vaguely, laid out for you, unless the chronicles beforehand. But for a newcomer, it's like it's vaguely told. And spoiler alert: the villain of this comic is killed off, and you have a big battle in the end. I mean, Ninja Turtles was like it started off just as a 44-page or a 40-page graphic novel. This is a 44-page. Right. I have a sense this is more of a graphic novel than it is, I guess, like a traditional comic. It's printed like that, but in every sense, it starts and it ends with a proper storyline, I guess. Yeah, by definition, a graphic novel, but because you never know, like Eastman Laird, they didn't know if the first book was going to do so well. It turned out to be, I think it's now $1 billion franchise, 39 years later.
Yep.
I don't say I'm mimicking that, but it's just like, what? Tell the story in just one issue. If people like it, great. If not, all right, move on to the next thing. But yeah, that was so year 1, Long Halloween and TMNT #1 were the inspirations.
Got it. Now, Brandon, since we got to read these the 4 issues, now is that available for print now? Have you taken that step yet?
So I did do a limited printing. So what you see on Webtoon, yes, it is divided up into 4 episodes, but that's mainly for considering the fact that Webtoon, they prefer shorter, and the readers prefer shorter stories. So I divided it up into like a limited series. But I did do a small printing of books. I know Leo has a copy of one.
Of course he did.
Yeah, I did. Well, that's how I knew about this whole. That's how I learned about the Dorkening to begin with.
There you go. He's very good.
For my senior exhibition, where I displayed some prints of the artwork, I sold some copies of the books, and of course, everybody who knew me, who knew my work, they definitely wanted a copy of the book. So I did like a small printing out of pocket for just 150 prints. Okay. I am planning a Kickstarter pretty soon. But
great.
just so I could. But with Kickstarter, it's a whole thing where you need to meet your goal. You need to meet at a certain time, and if you don't, then they don't give you your money. So, I mean, it's not that it was I mean, yeah, I just wanted to have at least something to print. But
well, did you sell out of that printing?
Currently, I am sold out of books.
That's awesome! Congratulations!
I am planning on doing another small print because next month I have my first solo exhibition for Rat Night. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to be selling some more books, and then I'll do the Kickstarter afterwards.
Is that going to be at a convention?
No, it's at a museum called the Rochester Museum of Fine Arts. When at my exhibition, one of the school's alumni, he comes every year just to check out all the exhibitions and stuff, and he commented saying that my work was the best that he saw in the entire senior exhibition, and asked if I had any contact information that we'd be in touch. So I gave him my business card, I gave him a copy of the book, and then about maybe like a week later, we talked and we discussed, we want to do an exhibition for Rat Night this fall.
Man, that's cool.
So, yeah.
And guys, please, if you have other questions, I really don't want to monopolize this. Are you planning more? Because the ending of yours is very much has that classic, I wouldn't say comic book story ending, but it kind of reminded me of the ending of Dark Knight, where you have that like the hero is not the hero, he kind of accepts he's the villain, but then you had that comic book ending where you had his sympathizer essentially could be his Robin, which I was like, wow, that's not a comic book cliffhanger. I don't know what is. And then you said, Long Halloween would lead into Dark Victory, which is Jeff Loeb and the late great Tim Sale's way of introducing Robin into the Batman mythology. You don't have to tell us if you're worried about is that the plan?
Well, yes, I am planning a next issue, but it probably won't be. So going forward, it will be like a traditional comic series. It's not like it will. Yes, the first one ends with a cliffhanger, but I end it again like it could just stand on its own, where you don't like if someone read it and didn't like it, they could be like, well, at least it ended properly,
Right.
But the next one, yes, it will. But this time, it will actually be like an actual series, like. It will be like a to be continued, and it won't be as long. In my mind, it'll probably be like I'm planning like maybe like 32, 36 pages.
Yeah,
if anything. My plan for Rat Night is kind of divided up into like phases, kind of like the MCU. So like we're in phase 1 right now, essentially. So I'd rather focus on that, which will be probably maybe like 6 to 7 issues. Tie up this storyline, and then I can plan the next one. Work on all those, and then, do a phase 3.
Right.
But yeah, you're kind of right. Like the next one will. Well, I don't want to give away any spoilers, but his little sympathizer at the end, his name is Timothy.
Oh boy.
Unintentionally, as a homage to Tim Drake, but that was just the name I came up with when I drew a sketch of him. Like he looks like his name would be Timothy. So, and I was like, and now I can't get it out of my head. It's just like, yeah, his name's Timothy.
Yeah.
But Timothy will be in the next issue.
Great.
As for what his role is, well, we'll wait and see. But the next one the story goes from the rats being like, what you're doing is crazy. You need to accept it that, we're rats. Eventually a snake's going to eat us or a cat's going to snatch us up. It's going to happen, dude. You need to relax. It goes from that to, okay, you're insane. We need to do something about you.
Right.
Because that's sort of the, we always see in for the most part, by every definition, superheroes are vigilantes. So we start off with a character that technically is not a vigilante, but now they want to, the rats, they're going to want to, control him for, again, it's just like what you're doing is pointless. Now they're like, okay, now you're insane.
Right. So another thing is that you are the primary creator. I mean, you were the writer, you were the artist, you were, I would assume, inker and colorist as well. So
Yes, and everything.
you did the whole thing. Do you have an even greater respect now for creators like, I guess, like yourself, like, Frank Miller and other people who did essentially almost all of it? Like, because I myself once was a self-taught artist, and I remember there were many nights of procrastination the day before I was supposed to get like a one-page comic in. I'm just like up at 3 a.m., like drawing it out and just inking it and just be like, okay, thank God, I hope this makes sense. I'm so sleep deprived. So this was a final project. So, like, do you now have an even greater respect for those creators who essentially did it all?
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, I knew going in I'd be the only sole creator, so I do feel very accomplished achieving what I did. I mean, for the most part, my workload wasn't while working on this book. I was, balancing out school and work when I was back home. Mainly, I would work on 1, maybe 2 pages a week, since there's 44 pages. So like for my first semester, it was probably the easiest. Well, not probably the easiest. Like I would have, like, Fridays would be our senior studio day, where we would meet with our professor, and we would either have a lesson plan for us, or we would just work on our projects, and he would come over to our studios and see what we're up to. I would mainly spend a day working on a page, but the day before that, on my Thursdays, I only had a morning class, so I had my afternoons free. So I would just work on another page. And then winter break, I just worked on as much as I could. And then when I got back for my final spring semester, I only had like 5 pages left to draw. And while I was, drawing, inking, and everything, I would also scan and then color in the work. So I wasn't like waiting at the last minute, or not waiting at the last minute, but like spending so much time just dedicated to the coloring. Just trying to just keep, I wouldn't say keep like a rhythm going. I mean, I was working on a project, like very consistently, but
so you mentioned scans. So I'm assuming you put like pencil to paper first, scanned that in, and then did your coloring on a computer, or did you do any coloring, outside?
all the pen and ink, that's all done traditionally. So 11 by 17 Bristol board, and then variety of pens like fine liners and brushes. All those were done traditionally, and then scanned it in, and then did all the coloring in Photoshop. Especially given I had to give it the vintage look.
Okay.
Yeah, your color palette is great.
Well, that's the original, or not the original, the DC palette from the 70s and 80s. You can find it.
Yeah.
It's Jose Luis Garcia Lopez published a book in 1982 called DC Guide, and it has that color palette in there.
Oh, nice.
So someone though there are a couple different versions of it you can find online, like one a direct scan from the book, another is like a cleaned up version of it. The colors are a little different. I chose that one because it just, like, the colors, like, this is how true they are. But at the same time, trying to keep, even though it doesn't specifically say in the book it takes place in the 80s, I try to give it as close as a timely or a timeless feel as possible.
Yeah,
because it mixes pretty much all the different, like, comic book ages up to that point. So you got the noir detective side of the golden age,
right?
Colors of the silver age, and then sort of the storytelling and artwork of the bronze age.
Smart. So
now, I was just going to say, I know you mentioned bringing this to an art gallery, once you get some more printed. Have you thought about going to some cons? Because there's a bunch in Connecticut that could you could probably make some good money at.
Agreed.
I am planning on doing some cons next year.
Terrificon. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was at Terrificon this past. Well, I went to the Terrificon this August. I got to actually give some books to the artists that were there, and a lot of them were pretty impressed with what I had to present. A few of them were like, dude, just have a second issue ready, and like you'll be good to go.
Boom.
And some gave some critiques on like the work on where I could improve on line weights and stuff, which is good, great advice. So, definitely we'll take that into consideration for the next books.
Oh yeah.
So we're talking.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Carrie.
Oh, we were talking before the show started about how some people have called it Rat King. There's been mess upon it. Are you familiar with the Rat Kings?
Yeah, Rat King from Ninja Turtles. My professor, Rich Pellegrino, when I made so I made the first Rat Knight comic in one of his classes, and when it started, it was just a rough sketch that he needed to see for the project, and he was like, "Oh, Rat King from Ninja Turtles." I'm like, "No, Rat Knight." But so okay, so in the book, yes, everyone usually calls him a different name, but that was because originally everyone was calling him Rat Man because it looks like Batman as a rat, so it was like, oh, it's Rat Man. But no, that's not the case. And then you have other names like Nightwing, or I don't want to say the B word because I don't know if it'll get you guys demonetized, but Rat Bastard. One of my other professors.
We're rated R. It's okay.
Okay.
You can say whatever you want, man.
Okay, Rat Bastard was another one. I wasn't planning to be in the book, but when one of my other professors, John Klausner, said that, I laughed so hard. I was like, that's going in the book. Totally. But that's the reason why everyone calls him many different names, because at first, everyone kept messing up his name.
But outside of Ninja Turtles, though, and I have to say, I'm not the biggest Turtles expert, so I don't know the Rat King character from there. But the actual old Rat Kings, where it's a bunch of rats that sometimes the rat catchers them, and you tie them, they would tie together their tails, or just they would be compacted and crowded enough that there would be these rats that were all jumbled together, and they'd be pulling against each other, trying to move around. And so I've seen them portrayed before with like this collective consciousness, but they're also fighting each other on who's leading the pack around. And I just like, I think that would make a really cool villain. You could have like this mental mass conglomeration entity around. So just if you hadn't thought about that.
What are you saying? Are you saying like so it's like some sort of rat version of Clayface? Carrie?
It's like multiple rats. They would get a bunch of rats and get them all tied together, so they're all facing in different directions and such. And so to get around, they would have to, like, the stronger ones would have to pull and get the weak ones to follow with them. But it was like old rites of passage way back in the day when you actually had rat catchers in cities and stuff. It was part of a badge of like your accomplishments was to make one because you could handle them well enough without getting bit. But they also, like I said, sometimes just naturally occurred in places that were super infested with the nests and stuff. So it was...
That's cool.
Yeah, Terry Pratchett brought one up in Maurice and his Amazing Rodents, or Maurice something. I can't get the rest of the name right, but it was just a really neat concept. So I've been like kind of into them ever since. It's just like, nifty.
Okay. That's cool, Gary.
So Brandon, you're gonna have to educate yourself on rat lore now.
When I started making a few of the comics, I had a list of rat facts just to make sure I was ready to go. Probably the one that makes me I want to say cautious about Rat Knight is the age that rats live for. Most sewer rats, they live for about 2 years. On average, or not on average. If a rat is properly taken care of, at most they live up to maybe 6 years at most.
Right.
I mean, he's in the best physical physique. He's going to last a good few years, but in human years, and in this issue, he's technically 45.
Well, I mean, hey, listen, if this goes long enough, you could do some Batman Beyond rat shit. I mean, that could be pretty cool.
That was
Well, also nobody really questioned how long Splinter lived, so you can
That's
just, you
true.
can go for it.
well. Apparently, in Mutant Mayhem, he says that he's in his 20s. So I don't. I mean, maybe in Rat Hughes, like he's actually just a year old, or but yeah, and I didn't think about that until I watched the movie. Like, wait, how old is Splinter?
He's old
You need
enough.
you need some ooze.
Yeah.
Some Daredevil / TMNT / Rat.
Yeah,
Knight.
you got to have that ooze. So, But
Yeah.
Leo, I believe some people watching had some questions or some comments. Can you scroll? Can you scroll to that, please?
Yeah. I was displaying them as they popped up, but yeah, a lot of comments. So Glorious was asking, what was your favorite story arc to make in Rat Knight?
Favorite story arc? That's interesting. I mean, it all feels like one big arc, but I just like that dynamic that again, he's not technically a vigilante. He's just doing what he thinks is right. He's just taking it to the extreme. And that all tying up in the end. Because originally the book was going to have a more triumphant ending. Originally, the rats were, or the scene where the character Jonathan, he just badmouthed Rat Knight in front of the entire colony. That scene wasn't originally going to be in there. And the ending after Rat Knight, kills the entire den of snakes. Originally, the rats were going to praise him. And then I thought to myself, there's just something missing here. And it took me it didn't take me long to figure it out, but it's like, okay, I need a character that is like the most vocal of the hate towards our protagonists.
Right.
And like, I want to show, and I want to, portray that the rats don't trust him and stuff. Like, I say that in the beginning, but like, you don't really see that throughout the book, or at least they don't really mention it afterwards. So it's like, well, then that's kind of pointless if I just have the rats, praise him in the end.
Oh.
So that's why the ending is as is,
Yeah.
Because it makes you want to go into the next one. Think like, oh, how's he ever going to gain the colony's trust now? He's trying to be heroic, but what he just did kind of make him second guess that. Even if anyone thought, oh, he may be heroic, like, oh, dude, you're crazy.
Right.
That's something a lot of comic book writers say is like it's absolutely crazy to go out and be a superhero, because it takes somebody who's slightly mad to be able to do that. But they also, I like how they did speak against him, because there's also that thing of, if we didn't have the superheroes, would we have as many villains? Do they create the opposition that goes against them? And they're acting out, at least him on his behalf, for the good of the colony, but nobody really asked him to, because he's
Exactly.
personal vengeance, but it's making things worse technically for some of them that they aren't, the people aren't thinking about.
And Carrie, that was something that Jeff Loeb brought up in a lot of his work. It was something he brought up in Long Halloween that also carried over into Dark Victory and later into his series with Jim Lee, was that the idea that Batman's presence attracts essentially the rogues that would later fill the streets and Arkham Asylum. So in some way, because Batman exists, they exist in almost as an opposition, like some sort of cosmic balance. So I think that's definitely something that, and again, Long Halloween, as our guest said, was an inspiration. So probably there's some underlining, philosophy there.
Essentially, but there's a little hidden detail. I guess, this is a book where really you got to really read in between the lines with this, because again, toward what is it? I have the notes right here. Page 10, Jonathan's bad-mouthing Rat Knight. He says, y'all think he's a hero, but he creates more dirty rats every day. Yeah, but if you go to page, I think it's 21 or 22, wherever we start to see the snake, when we see the snakes and they're discussing their progress, gathering food. One of them says, "Are you sure we should have killed those guys? I mean, we only have a week left until hibernation, and we're running out of dirty rats to work for us."
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that Rat Knight, he's creating dirty rats, because they're inspired by his like dirty rats in the story existed long before Rat Knight did.
Right.
But there it is. That's the page. But yeah, the reason why they keep creating more of them is because Rat Knight keeps stopping them, so the snakes have to recruit more dirty rats. But it is sort of like a need to know situation. You know, if this gets out to anyone who's innocent, you know, the whole colony is going to find out, and then they're all screwed.
Yeah. So, Leo, what were some of those other comments?
Yep. Actually, Lester had a great idea. Would you consider adding a lab rat to the series as a nemesis or adversary? You could even do, you know, a backstory on Rat Knight where he was a lab rat. You know, that could be why he's living longer.
I mean, I like that, but the only reason I mean, it's a great idea. Don't get me wrong, but only reason I wouldn't go down that route is because
it's kind of done.
The origin is already there. Like we see why. Well, in the very first comic that I ever made of Rat Knight, the Alex Ross inspired one, we see his origin. His family was killed by the what I call the snake pin, so Kingpin, but as a snake type thing. I just thought it would be a cool name.
Is it King Cobra?
I was gonna call him that, but like that's just, of course, you would want to call him that. But like, I'm saving King Cobra for a possible future character because there is a little hidden detail. There is one snake that you don't see throughout the rest of the book. That you don't see him fight Rat Knight in the end, so he may come back.
Hey, listen, man, I'm just waiting for when a rat shows up with a slice of pizza, because then I'm like, that's both topical and another nod to the turtles. So that's what I'm waiting for.
I don't remember I think there is a pizza joke in there somewhere. I don't remember where. I know I should know this, but I don't remember where.
It's all good.
I did make a note if he had like little pellets in his belt for like snacking on, they would be pizza flavored. You know, like those pizza snacks you can get at like 7-Eleven.
The combos.
That I hate those things. They're disgusting. but essentially that's what they would be, but they're pizza flavor. Because one of my classmates like, Brandon, you got to do the pizza rat. Did anybody know about that meme?
Yep.
Pizza rat?
Every day I'm in a Subway, I think about that.
Yeah, that's one of the things someone pointed out to me, like, you got to do that. I'm like, I'll figure it out. But with the origin, yes, you in the first comic you do see it played out that his family is killed by the snake pin. But in the book, it's a little bit more, there's a few more layers to it. But again, it's if you read in between the lines type thing. I feel bad for spoiling this. I want people to read it, but
no, don't say anything more.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure. I mean,
yeah, we know it's happening, but you didn't tell us how. Well,
yeah, but so in this sense, he wouldn't be in this continuity. He wouldn't be a lab rat because then he would spend a year training himself physically for, his mission, going forward. But, maybe in the reboot in like 30 years we'll do that.
So another guest said, have you put any other deeper Easter eggs into Rat Knight that would be nods to older comics, not just the Turtles or Batman?
Not that I know, not that I can recall. I mean, it was sort of unintentional, but my professor thought that the style was very reminiscent of Todd McFarlane and like Frank Miller. Like, I didn't necessarily use them as inspirations, but I can see where I can see the similarities in the work.
Well, yeah. Well, I think what he was referencing more is that Miller and McFarlane's Batman were very much of that era where Batman really, in some ways, became more of the Dark Knight, where he was a lot more violent, a little bit more prone to gore. Especially Frank Miller, because The Dark Knight Returns, which still that blue color palette, whatnot. He was essentially, a out of retirement thug ready to take back Gotham and did whatever he wanted. McFarlane was of a similar era, but his stuff was, we saw with Spawn, was very prone to violence and killing his victims and stuff because he was a soldier. So I think it was really more of that, but it's still a nice nod because, like you said, your work is an homage to a lot of different genres of comics.
Yeah. Well, actually, originally, I initially just had this just take place in modern day, but then I thought to myself, what is a modern day comic book already? Why does a modern day comic book already have a vintage appearance to it? That doesn't make sense. Like where did you store that? for it to be, already yellowed and stained. Like, so then that's when I made the decision to have it take place in the 80s.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But again, it worked because all the artists and books I'm paying homage to, they were around that era anyway. So
yeah.
Well, Year One and Long Halloween were a little bit more further down, but
it's still they're still good homage. So yeah.
Viveka is asking, where do you see Rat Knight in 5 to 10 years? And they also asked, who's your favorite character and why?
Oh gosh.
Yeah, man.
In 5 to 10 years, I still plan on making the books. I mean, I don't know how many would be out at that point, but I don't know, honestly. I mean, I don't know where it would be. I mean, I hope, it just gains more traction. That's all I can ask for. As for my favorite character, I'd have to say Jonathan, because I intentionally yes, he is that character that speaks the hate towards our main character, but that's the whole point. He was intentionally made for you to hate him. And that's why I love him so much.
There you go.
Everybody's got to have their J. Jonah Jameson.
He is
true story.
Basically, yeah, he was inspired by J. Jonah Jameson and Harvey Bullock for sure. That's basically who he is. More Harvey Bullock, I guess.
Yeah, Harvey, especially in the animated series, just did.
Harvey's, he's aggressive but serious. Jameson, he's serious but funny. But Jonathan, I'm just going for serious and just like, just like aggravating.
Yeah, he'll never admit he's wrong.
Exactly. Well, he does speak some truth, though. I mean, but he's given vague information when he's like, "What's the meaning of all this?" And one of the snakes says, "Oh, your caped friend sent us." Like, of course, he'll take that information and twist it to to his own advantage.
Mm-hmm.
That was the point of.
Yeah. So with Batman Day having passed last Saturday, and trust me, members of this show definitely showed the support. I know I did. I know Mr. Velvet J, Mrs. Carrie S over there, and Leo thought about it.
I thought about it, but I was out of commission with my back.
Yeah, so. he was coming back to us. We knew a great chiropractor. Who is your favorite Batman? Both, like, as in, who's your favorite Batman? And you can say like story arc, era, artist, or not. And who is your favorite Batman, either live action or animated?
Okay, so
I like to give options. There's not just a one. So.
All right. Well, comic storyline, or does it have to be like a storyline, or like just the way he's drawn? Or can
you know what? However you want to answer it, sir.
Okay. I really like the way he's drawn by, again, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, and his work is more inspired by what Neil Adams did.
Right.
Like once Neil Adams defined the look of the characters, or really for many of DC's characters. Yeah, I'd say those two, Neil Adams and Garcia Lopez.
Mm-hmm.
As for like comic, I really do like Year One. I do like. I always like when we see Batman sort of like starting out. Like Batman Begins is one of my favorite of the movies.
Thank you.
Starting out, and of course the Batman. Even though it was like a few years after he started crime fighting,
right?
But you can still see like the early foundations of him. But I always like when we see the foundation. Like I like any when we see the origin of any comic book character, especially when you see him building the suit. Like I love the bat suit. If you give me $1 billion right now, I would have someone build me a functional bat suit.
Well, Halloween's coming, so good luck.
As for live action, we'll do live action. Well, animated, we'll do anime first. Of course, the late Kevin Conroy, rest in peace.
Of course.
He's definitely. I got to go to the Batman animated series 25th anniversary panel at New York Comic Con a while back. It was in 2017. I got to meet Mark Hamill, who I did a drawing of Luke Skywalker and the Joker, and I asked for him to sign it, and it took him a second to realize what he was signing. I was like, "Wait, did you draw this?" And I'm like, yeah. He's like, I've seen many things. This is really good. And he like shook my hand and everything. Like my dad said that he probably had more interaction with me than anyone else that day.
Great.
Like that was like that was probably like one of the best moments of my entire life. Like that was just so,
Yes.
yeah.
Please tell me you framed that.
I do have it framed. It's on my Instagram somewhere, but I do have it framed. It was so awesome. And then I went to the panel. So I was in the same room as Kevin Conroy. Didn't get to meet him, but it's okay. At least I got to hear him say the famous "I am vengeance" line. So
it's pretty great.
That was amazing. And for live action Batman, there it is. That's the drawing.
That's pretty cool, man. Nicely done.
Yeah, this was around the time Last Jedi came out, so I wanted to at least have that version in there.
Smart.
And actually, this was around the time I was also binging the animated series for the first time. So, of course, I had to have that version of the Joker in there. As for live action Batman, currently Ben Affleck's my favorite.
Okay.
I think that I guess when it comes to each Batman did great for that era. Michael Keaton, he fit the late 80s era perfectly. Adam West, he fit the campiness of the Silver Age. Kilmer and Clooney were kind of like a good homage to that. Bale definitely represented the modern age. Ben definitely represented. I would say he represented like all like live action Batman. Well, I guess besides the campiness again of West, Clooney, and Kilmer, but he was a great Bruce Wayne, but he was also great. Like he's the one Batman that I actually fear. If God forbid if I was a criminal and he was, jumping down from an abandoned building and beat the shit out of me, like I would be legitimately scared. The other ones I would kind of laugh at, and then they would beat the crap out of me, like, oh no, go away.
Right.
But Pattinson did a great job. Pattinson would be my second favorite.
Okay. Excellent. Leo, was there anything else, or do we just want to read all the compliments that a lot of our viewers have been giving his work? You've been getting a lot of positivity. So definitely when your Kickstarter's up, let us know because we will definitely post it. And just be like, hey guys, do you like this work? Support him.
And we also have some other artwork. We've shown a bit of what you had on your page and on your Instagram. And I just put my favorite ones here, but I'm going to put these up in the background while Leo has that up. This one for Barbenheimer.
Yeah,
I love
Nice.
the detail on that. That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
That you did
along with
wonderful.
comics, I like doing like single illustrations, like movie posters or character art and stuff. And I like to explore different mediums. So,
and these two, I thought these were great.
I'm definitely proud of that Ahsoka and Anakin piece.
Yeah, it's really nice.
That Vader one right next to it is, if you couldn't tell, is kind of an homage to the poster for the Batman. Because I initially did another poster of that, like of Vader like standing in the rain, similar to the Batman teaser poster.
Nice.
And then when Star Wars Day was approaching, I thought, I got to do the main poster.
It's funny because that reminds me. There was this, and I've told these guys about it, so I don't mind sharing with you. There was a Seinfeld account that I follow, and they did the episode where Kramer is next door. There's the chicken restaurant. The red light is in there, and his whole apartment is bathed in red. And he opens the door, and Jerry's like, "What is that?" And he's like, "It's vengeance, Jerry." And then you see Batman with the red flare, and I was like, "That's great, done, bye, perfect." So definitely look for that because that was pretty funny. So, moving on.
So, yeah, Anthony's saying, have you considered at some point taking on an up-and-coming artist for the next issue or future project? We're friends with the Still Token With, and they do a indie comic. And they actually do a lot of collaboration with up-and-coming artists for their comics. It might be something to consider doing a collaboration.
I'd love to collaborate at some point. I mean, it just depends on what the project is. If it's for, I don't want to sound like, I don't want to make this sound like a bad thing, but if with Rad Night, I kind of want it to just be my own thing. I mean, sure, yes, if a publisher were to pick it up, I mean, that would be great. And I have a team of artists and writers to work with as well. Like, that'd be great.
Right.
But at the moment, I do like working with, Rat Night as a one-man job. But for any other like comic projects, that would be amazing to work on.
Well, it's definitely a good thing, and this is a good. I hate to say it, but this is kind of a good time to work on such things because creator-owned comics are really strong right now. We've seen a lot of those. Some that we've reviewed, a lot of them have really good success, and especially now that licensing, creator rights, and such, which is a big topic constantly in the comic book industry. It's definitely very precious too, because you've seen kind of the pros and cons of working with a big industry, and especially work for hire kind of things and creating characters and realizing you created it, but you're not really going to get a lot from it. So I can kind of understand you kind of want to be like, this is my baby. Just let me raise it.
I'm not against it. I'm not against it. If somebody has great ideas and they want to come on, I wouldn't mind bringing them on, but I'm not against collaboration.
Oh no, I know, but I see your point.
But one of the things when I took my book to Terrificon, a lot of the artists said that I'm way ahead of the game. The fact that I did everything at my age. Not only write, illustrate, but also print and self-publish. That would be impressive enough. But again, to have to have another one ready to go, so I know oh yeah, he's actually doing a series here.
Cool.
You know what you should do is take a look back at our videos for over the summer. We covered the one of the Comic-Con panels with what was he? He worked for DC at one point. He was an attorney. And he's talking about, how to make money in comics. And one of the things that he said nowadays, the day and age right now, the money's not working for DC or Marvel. It's all in with indie creators. That's actually the best way to make money in comics right now.
Yep.
I mean, the dream is to hopefully one day do a project for DC and Marvel. I mean, that would be amazing. Whatever it is, they just, want me to help write the story, be the colorist, inker, penciler. That would be amazing. And even if it's only for just one issue, I can at least say I did it. So,
listen, I'm just hoping that one day we see Rat Night crossing over with Captain Carrot and the Crazy Crew. I think that would be pretty great. Or even if you just had a moment where Rat Night just runs into the turtles and just hey, cool, man.
It's funny. I did a drawing of one of the Ninja Turtles recently, and someone commented saying, I think Rat Night is Splinter if he didn't find the turtles. And I said, that is definitely the case in an alternate universe.
Yeah, you just have to write that Rat Night Elseworld and then just make it out like that and be like, huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rat Night. I
really love that. I really love Rat Knight's lair, by the way. And because you can see exactly how he got everything he did, and that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to read the comic to see it. So
exactly.
Okay.
Well, speaking of reading the comics, so everybody watching, if you check the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us, I believe I put the link to the webtoons, so everybody can check it out there. And I definitely urge you, check out the 4 issues. It's worth a read. Definitely a lot of fun, especially if you're a Batman fan,
Yes.
And even if you're not, support an independent artist.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
So basically, Brandon, we're coming up on an hour, which again, usually is our guest time. So I guess before we go, what's the best way that if anybody wants to, follow you, subscribe, keep an eye on your work, contribute to your Kickstarter, anything, where are your social media? What's the best way to reach you? And when do you know when your exhibit's going to be?
All right. Well, you can follow me on my Instagram. It's right I don't know if my name's right here, but there it is, Brandon Cable Art on Instagram. As for my exhibition, it opens October 9th. We have the reception November 4th. The information's in my Instagram, so it's pinned in my feed. So also, if anyone's interested, I have Rat Night merch on Redbubble.
Yeah,
I got some different designs and stuff for everyone to choose from. All different like apparel and all that. So
Cool.
I'll have information on the Kickstarter hopefully at some point, and hopefully some news on the next Rat Night. But yeah, and read it on Webtoons, subscribe to the series, and yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and also check the show notes. I believe I have your link tree and your Instagram there as well. So all you got to do is check the show notes up above or down below, and you can find everything right there. And what were you gonna say?
I was going to say, before we go, is there any other fun fact? Because I know you said you had a sheet. Is there any other fun facts you can share about Rat Night that we could be like, just end on that note, like, oh wow, that is really clever. Well, that's great stuff. One.
I only have it here just so I can at least, if that's brought up, I can have the specifics. But I guess I can leave on this last one. In the wait, no, I got a really good one. There is actually one other inspiration for the comic, and it's the Phil Collins song "In the Air Tonight."
Oh,
yeah. If you read it, once you read it over again and you listen to the song, it's basically it is an unofficial comic adaptation of the song. Like it's literally because when I started working on it, I wanted to have like a song that I could connect with it. You know, like whenever a movie comes out, you know, you have like a pop song that goes with it.
Right.
I didn't want to try to go for like a pop song, but like I want a song. Originally, I was trying to find a song about like, oh, what's like being a hero. But it's like, none of these songs are working. So I was like, all right, what is it? This is a story about revenge. All right, what's a song about revenge? And I saw "In the Air Tonight." I'm like, no, is it? I'm one who never really pays attention to song lyrics until I have to.
Right.
So when I read the lyrics, I said to myself, oh, holy shit, this is Rat Night. So,
Love that.
but yeah, so once you read it over again and like listen to the song, like it's right there. It's all right there.
Definitely going to do that now.
And going forward, that will be the case. Every song will kind of tie in with a song. Just again, for me to kind of like get into the psyche of a character or the storyline.
Okay.
The next one, a little bit of reinterpretation, but it'll be Bon Jovi's "Wanted Dead or Alive."
Yes, great song. Awesome.
Yeah, that will be that's going to be the lead song of the next one, and hopefully when the movies come out, I can have those songs tied in.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Listen, Alan Moore had some of his songs that were quoted in Watchmen that were referenced in the soundtrack. So anything's possible, man. Yeah. So good luck to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And, thank you so much for your time, Brandon. And it was great learning about the Rat Night.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Well, we'll let you go, Brandon. Thank you so much for your time. And definitely, everybody keep on watching. We're going to be talking about some comic book news. And definitely check out Brandon's Rat Night. All the information in the show notes.
All right. See you later.
Thank you.
All right. Bye. Have a good night, sir.
You as well. Bye.
Good night.
In the air tonight, there was a rumor when that first came out. Like, that's yeah. I don't need to say anymore.
Was it written about you?
No. Something that
sure.
Yeah, that actually happened to Phil Collins.
Yeah.
It wasn't real though.
And Drew, are you so proud of me? I did not talk about snakes at all during this, and I had prime opportunity.
You know what? I was, and now you the game is over, Leo. Just.
Hey guys, I gotta apologize for a second. My cat's having an issue. If I seemed a little distracted there, I gotta go check. I'll be right back. I apologize.
No worries, Rich.
Mine behaved so far all night. I'm surprised.
Well, I think while we wait for Velvet, we can start popping into the news.
Huey Lewis.
Do you want me to run through them since I put them up, or?
Yeah, if you want, let's kick it off with Batman Day.
Yeah.
Wait, 1 second. Hold on. Leo, you are now participating. Carrie, take the wheel and drive this fucker into the ground. I mean, let's go. Listen, call me Huey Lewis. It's time for the news.
Alrighty.
Yeah, so go for it, Carrie.
No, so this was Leo's, is what I'm saying.
It was. Hold on. We got to mute Velvet. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah. So, if you don't know, Batman Day was this week. And I have to say, it was very disappointing.
Did you not lose any parents in a alleyway?
No, I didn't. But
I can see how that would be disappointing on Batman Day.
I mean, they gave us some new issues for things and some new merch.
Yeah, did you see that statue? That's $260.
How tall
Okay.
is it? Because and those other things are pins, by the way, for those people.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask. Thank you, Carrie.
Yeah, it's not a tire. It's they're buttons, but I put them on their side so that they could fit these two together.
Okay. I mean, don't get me wrong. Those statues look cool, and I know my father would love something like that, but I can't justify $216 out right now.
No, $260.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, cool. Even more now. Thank you, Leo.
Yeah. Okay, so this is ridiculous. I started going through some of their Batman items.
Okay.
And so yeah, $260. And
Okay,
let's see.
Leo, the show is not here called Leo's Toy Hate, so let's just let's not get lost down the rabbit hole of, can you believe this? Look at these prices. Like, who is this for?
Okay, so this here, $150. Okay, the other one was 10 inches tall.
Okay.
This one here is 5 inches by 8 inches by 4 inches high.
Okay.
You have to buy the character separate?
It's like a light up statue. That is not worth $150.
I think they were just trying to jam the Batman and Robin.
I think Velvet's back.
Hey, Velvet.
Hey guys, sorry about that.
No worries. We're taking over your favorite hobby of bashing on Batman.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's the show went from comic book news to toys Leo doesn't like and why.
Well, no, it's the whole Batman Day event. Like, there really wasn't anything, and this whole I'm sour because of this whole Gotham War bullshit.
Leo, they can't all be winners, my man.
Wow, bullshit, huh? That bad?
Yeah,
man. Yeah.
Gotham War, did you say?
Gotham War. Have any of you read Gotham War yet?
No.
So I think it's issue 137 for Batman.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I started reading that, and I'm absolutely lost because I've been staying up with the Chip Zdarsky storyline.
Okay.
And I knew Batman just came back from the alternate universe, and then all of a sudden, like, he's fighting with Catwoman. Like, there was a storyline missing. Turned out they had a prelude issue to this whole Gotham War that I didn't even know about.
Okay.
So if you're collecting, the Batman issues, like, the storyline started to not in the main storyline. I was absolutely lost, but I read back up into it, and essentially Catwoman wants to change friggin' my brain's not working right here.
Yeah, you're consumed with the hate. You're the everything's great. Like, these covers are great.
Okay, so she wants to change crime. So essentially, she's taking all the henchmen that work for, like, Penguin and Joker, and training them to be cat burglars. And they essentially, the Bat family is all in on this. They're all in on Catwoman supporting crime, and Batman is not. And the whole Bat family ends up fighting Batman over this because Batman still sees this as a crime and he wants to stop it. And they don't think like one of the cat burglars that Catwoman trained end up getting shot by one of the owners that he was trying to rob. So there's still victims in this, even though they're criminals, they're still victims. So it's Batman trying to stop crime. The Bat family wants this to go on. And yeah, it's just all out war.
That is weird.
Is this Tom King?
No, this is not.
No.
This is the Chip Zdarsky. Tom King hasn't been doing Batman in a while.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Well, Chip usually has a better reputation on the storylines.
Well, Chip has been doing. He was doing an awesome job with Batman so far, but this year just like went right into the trash.
Well, I mean, Leo, it's hard to maintain. Even all great writers have their so-so storylines. I mean, we've seen this with Tom King did this. Scott Snyder had those kind of moments. Even James Tynion, even his run. I mean, he had Joker War, and then he had Fear State. You went from must read to I'll pass. It happens. It's hard to, you can't be on top forever. Eventually, you gotta fall.
Well,
and some people fall gracefully, and some people, like an Acme cartoon.
Yeah. Well, a lot of fans are upset because of this, and they're also upset with DC because they actually stopped the Dawn of DC storyline for Night Terrors. So they started Dawn of DC, and very early in the stages, they put it on hold for 2 months because of Night Terrors, and a lot of fans are upset because of that as well. It's like,
okay, well, that's their choice, and again, we've seen all publishers have made so decisions that either hurt or benefit the company. Time will tell. So
I thought Night Terrors was great. So
yeah, I was going to say, like, I like how Kara was just like, okay. All right.
Well, not saying Night Terrors was bad. It's just that the whole Dawn of DC event that they're building up to
got halted.
Got halted because of Night Terrors.
Leo,
Night Terrors would have been. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, Leo, it wouldn't be the first time that editorial has made a decision that backfired.
Yeah.
So I mean, New 52 was a great idea, but it didn't end up that way.
But unless they needed some character from Night Terrors to show up in the new thing, it could have been a complete set written at the same time.
Right.
Of just Elseworlds.
Okay.
Unless for some reason they want to have all that become canon, which would be odd.
All right. So, okay, everybody. So stay out of Gotham right now. Thank you.
Actually, Night Terrors is referenced in the Gotham War storyline.
Of course it is.
Okay, so it wasn't.
It is canon. Yep.
Okay. So, all right. So, Carrie, what's next with news now that we've seen Gotham as war?
Let's bring it down.
Yeah. So this when I was doing when I was doing research, I'm so sad to hear that John Romita Sr. passed. I don't know if we've given tribute about it, but I just had to bring it up. That I thought that drawing was absolutely beautiful. I mean, it is hard to imagine what Marvel would have been like without his storytelling. I mean, he worked on Wolverine, Black Widow, Punisher, Kingpin, Luke Cage, Spider-Man, and Mary Jane. I mean, yeah, his son John Romita Jr. is still, one of the best artists in modern day. But again, what would Marvel be without jazzy John Romita?
That's recent, Drew. If it's so, I missed it.
I saw it. I looked it up, Rich. It said June 12th, 2023 was the date marked as when he passed away.
Wow.
So
totally missed that.
Yeah. So another great gone, but not forgotten.
And while we're still on the downswing of things, I'm gonna.
All right. So, Hugh Jackman and his wife have announced their divorce.
Oh, that's sad. They've been together for a long time.
Yeah, which was really surprising for me. His wife, Deborah Lee Furness, they sent out a joint statement that they'll be separating after 27 years of marriage. So we wish them the best. They're asking people, of course, to try to stay respectful of their relationship, besides the fact that he is a high-profile actor. And we wish them the best. Maybe it could work out. Maybe it can't. We shall see.
It's that love triangle with Deadpool that did it.
Yeah, it's Ryan Reynolds. It's the bromance that causes problems.
Yeah.
You guys are ridiculous.
Yes.
But again, sorry to hear that. Again, I hope them and their, I believe, 2 children, or right, 2,
Mm-hmm.
2 children. Hope we wish the family the best, and of course, everyone, please respect their privacy.
Yes.
So
Okay, and over to Drew again.
yes. So following up on some of it, tomorrow, Uncanny Spider-Man is out. Marvel have released a couple of the preview pages for it. So we see a couple of goons who have acquired some shocker, looks like shocker type weaponry, get intercepted by the latest friendly neighborhood wall crawler, or should we say night crawler. Again, Sam Spurrier and Lee Garbett. This book just looks great, and I'm actually really excited to give this a read. I feel like I'm going to be a little lost because this is, of course, coming after the events of Fall of X, Hellfire Gala, all that stuff. But I don't know. There's just something about that just is fun in a way that I feel Marvel has not been in a while, and I'm kind of excited. I don't know how do you guys feel, but I want to read that.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested. I love Spidey now, and I've always liked Nightcrawler. I don't know as much about him as I should, but
is Spidey good again?
Are we talking about the character, or are we talking about the book? Because only one of those is still good.
The book.
No, we're not talking about that.
Okay.
Okay, I need to say this because I don't know if there's any fans of it here. It's not for me. But if you're reading it, power to you. You know what I mean? Me, I'm good. I'm saving my $3.99.
Well, as far as Kurt Wagner goes as Spider-Man, I like the compilation of the 2 characters together. And, I liked his miniseries where he was a swashbuckler. So I'd like to see it with Spidey. It could be fun.
I love this where they said the uncanny wall crawler sets aside his mutant angst and dedicates himself to the hero's life, saving civilians, hanging out with wall crawlers, battling baddies, and hunting down the best pizza. I was like, sold. Let's go. This will be on sale tomorrow.
Is he just Nightcrawler in Spider-Man's outfit, or does he have like web shooters?
I think it's just wall crawler in a new costume, same powers, but he's a Spider-Man.
Oh,
yeah, but one of the pictures showed him like bamming in.
Yeah, bamped in, but he was hanging upside down, but he was, instead of a web, he was using his tail.
Right.
So, that was one of the first images Carrie showed. Like, look at that. That looks great. So, again, this will be on sale tomorrow, everybody. So definitely check that out.
Nice.
Yep.
And speaking of looking great, if you would like to learn how to draw some of your favorite comic book characters or just work on drawing in particular, Marvel has added over 50 characters to an app called Drawing Desk that was created by 4-Axis Technologies. And basically, as you can see, they show all the different kinds of pens and art tools that you can use. And there's a lot more than what they just are showing there. But they go like the tutorial for drawing Cap is over like 30 steps long, but it teaches you how to use each of the different tools, how to go through layers, and kind of what it's like if you're going to be a comic book artist, so that you're progressing slowly from, okay, I got to get the outline, then I got to put in shading, then I got to have to do this. And it does have some AI features as well. So if you want to, like, you put in a color and then you want to change the color palette, you can do that and have the AI just automatically transfer things over for you, so you don't have to recolor it all in again for yourself. And I guess, I mean, that's what a lot of the it's what people are using now when they're designing. A lot of people who
Cool.
don't go super old school. So that was just kind of a neat little addition that they put in there.
Yeah, totally. That sounds great.
Cool.
Right.
Nice.
And going back over to Rich with this one.
All right. So with the new Aquaman movie coming out, the rumors are swirling due to the trailer where it shows Black Manta saying that he's going to destroy Arthur Curry's whole family. So as we know in the comics, Aqua Baby dies. So the rumor is in the movie, again, Aqua Baby will die. And we know who's responsible for that. And will he get a creator credit if that's the case? Our good buddy Paul Kupperberg. Because we've reviewed that story before.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, and will he get to Hook?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah. So if you watch the trailer, they actually reference 3 storylines similar to what Blue Beetle did.
Mhm.
So the first one is Aquaman War for the Throne.
Okay.
So just in time for Aquaman, starring Jason Momoa. 6 years ago, he was a surface dweller raised as a son of a lighthouse keeper. Then
Right.
tragedy struck. Destiny revealed young Arthur Curry claimed his birthright. Let's see. So his reign is brief. Darkness threatens. So this looks like this is the original storyline
Okay.
before New 52. So it's Jeff Johns, Paul Pelletier, Ivan Rice. It's collecting Aquaman 0, 14 through 16, and Justice League 15 through 17.
Mhm.
It's Aquaman War for the Throne is an epic tale of conflict and quest from All-Star Creative Team. The other book they reference is Aquaman the Trench.
Yeah.
Which is New 52.
New 52.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we saw some of that in the original Aquaman. The Trench were some of those Lovecraftian looking, like vicious sea monsters.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So, okay.
Yeah, and then the third book they suggest is Rebirth. So Aquaman the Drowning.
Okay.
So this is also by let's see who did this. Dan Abernett and Brad Walker.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
I read a
yeah,
little bit of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Black Manta Rising, Out of Darkness, New 52.
Right.
So yeah, DC's recommending these 3 books to get up to speed for Aquaman coming out. I believe it's December 20th.
Okay.
And
We'll see.
I know you wanted to show the trailer maybe. Did you want to do that while we have the topic going?
Yeah, I'll bring up the trailer.
Okay.
Do that fast thing you do, Leo.
Yeah, I'll just throw bits.
How to
and
watch a
pieces.
trailer in 20 seconds.
And what was his seahorse? Was it Topo? Was that the name of the seahorse? Anyone?
Hold on.
Idea.
I mean, you're referencing some old stuff.
Well, I mean, it's in the trailer. He's riding a seahorse.
No, I know. I just it's been a minute, man.
Yeah. And he's got the blue outfit on, which I believe was in New 52 also.
Storm was the name of his seahorse.
Storm? Okay. Oh, I think Topo might have been the octopus in like the 1960s animation. I think
That sounds oddly familiar, yeah.
They have octopus, so
You know.
I can't. The cat's on my lap.
That's fair. Okay.
Their tech always it makes me giggle kind of.
Right. And I've seen a few people comment how it's green like kryptonite, but they're calling it the Dark Trident.
I mean, listen, whatever works. I just for me, it's just been such a long wait in between Aquaman and now the second one. So for me, I was just like, man, this has got to be really good.
Flying Mount. Oh, sorry. That was
Okay.
my little gamer girl geekdom popping out.
Will they kill Mira? That's the question.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, listen, we've seen them recast characters. She did at one point look like she died, or at least left Arthur. So it happens. I mean, Aquaman's life has not been immune to tragedy and death. So,
well, just because of like the whole trial and everything with the actress. I'm assuming that they'll kill her off in some form or another.
Right. Well, but this
Yeah.
could very well be the last time we've seen Jason Momoa as this character as well.
Well, hopefully he goes out on a good note, because there's nothing worse than a good portrayal of a character that, as we've seen, goes nowhere.
Yeah, and
Because
there's
of crappy
nothing
writing.
worse than a flopping fish out of water.
Get out.
Blah, 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 blah.
I would say,
And now with that, next.
I would say with the success of the
Nope,
first Aquaman,
nope, done.
what?
Moving on. So, Leo, this might appeal to you because this is actually a Star Wars thing. So, we originally talked about Star Wars Vision, which is inspired by the animated anthology of the same name. So, these are one-shots giving new artists the chance to essentially infuse Star Wars with their own stories and elements from their own culture and background. So, originally we saw in November, Star Wars Vision is going to have Peach Momoko with her storyline. Now, Tashi Okazaki, who is the creator of Afro Samurai, and he also does a lot of Marvel covers, is returning to a character that he created in Kamikaze Dogu's animated episode of Star Wars Visions, The Duel, his character, Ronin. So think Star Wars meets samurai film in black and white.
Okay, and
nice.
the droid with the little hat on it is just killing me. It's just like, I'm this droid with a straw hat walking around.
So essentially, this is supposed to be a prequel that talks about the character's past and explores his connection to the Force. So he was originally as a Sith Slayer, as we saw in the animated series, but who was he before? So this will explore his backstory and such. So this will be written and an art done by Takashi, and it's on sale January 3rd next year.
Awesome.
So, yeah, hey, listen, always down for some interesting, different Star Wars. So,
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Next up, we go back to Velvet.
All right. So, Fables. Let me pull this up. I apologize.
yeah, this is Rich. I'm glad you brought this up because this is a real doozy.
Yeah, I've actually got two pieces of this article. All right, so Bill Willingham put out Fables with on the DC Comics. I believe it was the Vertigo line.
Mm-hmm. It started Vertigo, yeah.
And it went for many, many issues. But apparently, in the last few years, DC has gone and put out a comic. I'm sorry, a card game, and I think one other thing related to Fables. And as far as Bill Willingham is concerned, he owns the characters and the rights to all that. And although he's tried to deal with the conglomerate, they have pretty much shut him down. And he says that he can't afford to sue DC. So he says, I own the characters, I own Fables, I own all the representation of it, and I am putting it out to the world as free source.
Right.
And 24 hours later, DC said, nay, we have ownership of all this, and you cannot put it out free source, and anyone who tries to, we will litigate. So this is unfolding. It is interesting. Bill Willingham himself apparently is a bit of a bigot and a racist, but that is a separate issue from the fact that he's being kind of robbed, at least from some of the research that I looked up as Drew's eyes are going left and right. So those are totally separate issues, and but no one likes anyone taking advantage of an artist. And so what the rights and future of Fables will be is in the air for now. But it's definitely interesting, and we'll see the ramifications in the comic industry.
Yeah. Carrie, did you because I've read Fables, and I do admit it is a great series, and I definitely recommend it for people who enjoy fantasy. I think I've also met Bill like ages ago at a Comic-Con, and seemed like a pretty decent guy. But you know a little bit about contract stuff. Did you? And we talked about this briefly. What was your 2 cents on that?
That's where it gets super complicated. And their lawyers were looking it over, and they said that DC does have it nailed in place the way they phrase things. I think Bill thought that there was a loophole. I think this is more maybe him actually thinking that he's going to be able to get it out there, but showing that
Mhm.
he would like to do so because he's going to lose this against the lawyers. What it's proprietary to the company once you start working there, and that's a lot of things. If you come up with an idea while you're working for somebody, it
Mhm.
belongs to them. It's
Mhm.
slightly different with creators because if they want to work on their own project and stuff, but once you start writing it and you gave DC or DC published for you, then you're giving the character over there. You can be the creator, but you're not the sole owner of it anymore. That's it's just kind of it's unfortunate, but it's how it happens. So I'm
Right.
pretty sure he's going to lose this one. But he is using it to point out all of the things that DC has done and bad choices he thinks that they have been making lately, and how the culture has changed in the company over the past, what, like 5 or 6 years or so, I think.
Mhm.
Or it might have even been longer than that. But so it was a great move to get the attention, and hopefully, he'll get some sort of something out of it, like some sort of compromise. But yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to win to get it put out there on
I
his own.
I wonder how that differs from like when DC put out the Vertigo Static Shock stuff, because they don't own that per se.
Mhm.
That was by a different
Milestone.
Milestone. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was by Milestone, and I believe Milestone retained their rights. So I wonder how it's different with Fables.
But with Milestone, Rich, at one point, a lot of those universes got absorbed into each other.
Is
But
that in print?
they have maintained, because Dwayne McDuffie, who helped create the character, did work a lot with DC, and they have to thank him especially for all the good success he did with Justice League. But I don't know, it's really tricky, and that's something that a lot of people with creator rights, you really have to read the contracts before you sign them, because you know but I think it's just going to be unfolding. And unfortunately, with these kind of things, a lot of nastiness could potentially come up. Like Rich, you alluded that there could be some certain things. So honestly, again, like I've read the material. I thought it was and I'm not really a big fantasy fan, and I thought Fables was great. I would love to read more of it. I wish him the best, and hopefully it doesn't end up costing him an arm and a leg. But
Yeah.
I think that's the best that we as fans can really do.
That's why I've been fortunate. I don't do comics, so I don't have to worry about sharing the universe with anybody else or having other people be influenced. But all the publishers I've dealt with, it's like you write your story, it gets put in an anthology. Okay, they own it for 30 days while they're getting it released to everything, but you
Mhm.
always maintain your own ownership of it. And then once their book is out, okay, that's the only time they're going to use it. If they come
Right.
back and want to use it again, you do an entirely new contract. But it unfortunately can't be the same for comic book writers. So,
Unfortunately.
well, because there's so much teamwork involved too, is why you can't be like, oh, I own this, even though I only came up with this and these people drew this and did this part.
Right. So Leo, what's your 2 cents before we move on to this next one?
Yeah, I just know, like you said, copyright with comic book companies can be very difficult. Like if he created Fables while working for DC and it first appeared in DC,
Mhm.
then it's an open shut case. But if it was an ongoing series that made an appearance in DC, then it could be another story.
Yeah.
Right. So we shall see. All right.
Yeah.
What do we got next, Miss Carrie?
Okay. Next is the X-Men's 60th anniversary, and for this, we are getting a one-shot featuring the original 5. And
oh.
it. Oh,
Did you also see the variant covers? I think it was for this, where it's the X-Men Jim Lee one, but it was like redone.
oh
No.
no, I didn't see that. It wasn't. And I looked at both Drew's and my research for that one. But if you can find that while I'm saying
Yeah,
what's going on, that'd be
I'll look
cool.
for it. Go for it.
All right. This one shot is going to be written by Christos Gage and illustrated by Greg Land. That cover that I put up was by Ryan Stegman. And basically, they're just bringing Cyclops, Marvel Girl, Beast, Iceman, and Angel. They're yanking them through the multiverse with the Phoenix Force and giving them back all of their memories circa Brian Michael Bendis's 2012, I think it was X-Men 268. Does that sound right?
It's really just the all new X-Men series.
Yeah. So it's going back to the all new X-Men, and it's going to be a kickstart to a new X-Men series that they're going to be starting later on in the year.
Mhm.
And so they have to deal with like their future selves in some cases, and one man will be left behind,
Yep,
or woman. Just depends. Not sure.
it's true.
The Phoenix Force just does terrible things to people. I mean, it can be fun too, but
I don't know. I personally speaking, I just feel like this is yet again another of hi. We don't have any new ideas, so we're just gonna recycle an old one to create new stories. And I don't like. Again, Christos Gage is a great writer. He did a lot of good stuff with. He did a lot of great stuff with Dan Slott in Superior Spider-Man. He did write select issues of that. He did some great stuff in Batman Beyond through their anthology series. So I'm familiar with his work, and he's a great writer. But this, and then Greg Land, who is an artist who, while being successful, has had his fair share of controversy. I don't know. I feel like this, to me, is a yet again marvel of, hi, we're just going to take old ideas, slap a coat of paint on them, and say, let's go.
I couldn't tell from what I read. So they're taking it back to Bendis era, but it didn't say who was actually they said this was the one shot that's reintroducing it, but is Christos going to be writing the new series, or are they going to like hand that off to Bendis and let him just?
I don't know.
You didn't find out either?
No, I didn't find it because again,
Okay.
Bendis has been primarily a DC person, so I don't know if he's making his way back to Marvel. I can't really say, but Leo and Rich, what do you guys think?
I mostly agree with you, Drew. Like we've seen them bring back the originals a few times in a few different storylines. So, like you said, throwing a batch of paint on an old idea.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the Phoenix Force is the addition in this one, or is the swab of paint, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it doesn't particularly get me excited. I'm glad that they've hit a 60th anniversary. That's awesome. I always love the X-Men.
Right.
But for me, I'm not terribly excited about it. What about you, Leo?
Sorry, I was trying to hunt this down. So
I feel like we've seen this before. Like,
yeah,
This is the Jim Lee cover. I think this is something else we've seen recently.
well, yeah, I feel like I've seen this because this is Alex Ross reimagining the Jim Lee, the classic X-Men issue 1 that he did with Claremont back in X-Men 1. So this is the 4th cover. So I mean, it's again beautiful. It's Alex Ross. So
yeah, it looks like it's spanning 4 or 5 different books, and I think X-Men 1 is part of it.
yeah,
You only get 35 of them this time. Okay.
yeah, Leo.
No breaking up in the 40s. We're gonna stop you
gotta
there.
you gotta leave some for everyone else in the store.
Damn it.
Yep.
God damn it! They won't let me get my books.
Nope.
Worse than my wife.
We want you to have some money for retirement
you,
whenever
Megan.
it comes. So, all right. So that comes out December 20th this year. So original X-Men issue 1, everybody.
Oh yeah, writing this down is a good thing, isn't it?
Oh, you can pre-order it.
No, Leo. We agreed. No pre-ordering during the show.
And this is the way we shop with Leo. He'll design a shirt on the side, then he'll answer his mail, then he'll answer a question. Oh,
Okay, so speaking of returning to Marvel, DC's Greg Capullo has been seen with a bunch of covers for a lot of upcoming Marvel work. One of them being this secret cover of Wolverine issue 37. So this was an unexpected variant that publishers found out. So you have the variant and the version cover, both by Capullo, in the order for Wolverine issue 37. So it's one that Capullo's teased a bit on his social media. It wasn't a commission, like we actually thought it was actually Marvel work. So he said he's happy to be working with Marvel again, but he has no interest on a monthly title. So he's strictly covers right now.
and while we're on Wolverine, it is his 50th anniversary, and none other than Chris Claremont decided that he was going to jump in. And though on their 60th, the X-Men only get one little comic, he is giving us a 5-issue limited series, Madripoor Nights. It's a direct sequel to, this is what it was, the Uncanny X-Men 286 that he wrote back in the 90s. And you get Logan and Cap and Natasha walking around Madripoor looking for a secret weapon. And then you also get to find out some dirty history or some deep, dark secrets or of something to do with building Natasha Romanoff and Logan's current character, what made them how they are. So I don't know if we're going to be say a little bit of retconning there or what exactly that
little patch in there.
I was just about to say that.
Which was, of course, Logan's nom de guerre in Madripoor.
And it's still the worst thing ever. Because it's just Logan with a patch. I was like, this worked for Nick Fury. This is not you. Like,
yeah.
They liked him and he had like a white tuxedo with the black.
oh no,
thing.
it's just Logan being James Bond. But it's just, if you really think about it, you're like, nope, it's the Clark Kent defense. How did nobody else see this?
They all thought he was Danzig.
Yeah.
Who did it? I just saw a show recently. I can't remember the name of it. The guy dressed like Nick Fury. His eye was messed up. Oh, Mr. In Between.
Okay.
Never mind.
Okay. Thanks, Leo. Fun fact there.
Yeah,
Leo is a time turner, and he has plenty of time to watch things.
Yeah, I'm convinced Leo goes back every week and then watches all the stuff while he also works. So, but he's smart enough not to run into himself. So, that's the only way.
That's why he gets 41 covers. He decorates his rooms, so he knows where to.
That's how he can do all these different shows at the same time.
So Mr. In Between. So Megan and myself, we don't watch too much TV. We'll find a series and then we'll binge it. It's an Aussie show. It's sort of like this. Anyway, look it up. But at one point, the guy gets his eye messed up, so he puts on a patch. He's wearing a long leather jacket like Nick Fury.
Okay. So I hate to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative, Mike.
Exactly.
All right, cool. Moving on then.
Velvet.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, Kite Man trailer just dropped this past week. And so everyone was wondering, is the spinoff of Harley Quinn, the animated series, going to happen? And it is. We don't have a definitive date, but at the end of the trailer, it says coming soon, and it said too soon. So
Hinata is so excited.
And we got a little golden glider in there. We've got some of the Harley Quinn characters. We've got a little dark side war, and it looks like a lot of fun.
Cool.
And, I can't wait. I think Max has been doing a fantastic job with both Harley Quinn and Superman, and just superior series that both I think ended their seasons in the last week or two.
That Superman show was so good.
You should really check out what Max is doing.
All right, definitely will.
I'm gonna binge that. That was
okay. Kite, just remember, and whatever you do, Kite Man, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Does he get struck by lightning?
Every
I
day.
just gotta know. Okay. Moving on.
Yes. So continuing our conversation with the new iteration by Thunderbolts, they revealed that Thunderbolts issue 1 through 4, that's Colin Kelly, Jackson Lanzig, art by Geraldo Borges, will have a interlocking variant covers by acclaimed artist Jose Maria Casanovas, where you see Bucky and Catest as recruits, being the second Black Widow, Sharon Carter, aka the Destroyer, White Widow, Red Guardian, USA Agent, and Shang-Chi, all fighting some of their foes. You got the Red Skull on one, the Kingpin on another, looks like an American Kaiju, and Doctor Doom. So I was like, wow, that altogether looks beautiful. And that the first issue will be on sale December 6th this year. So
Is it Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi?
You know what, Leo? I think we've just made a reputation for mispronouncing unless we're on an interview. So yes.
It is
Awesome.
both. All right. Moving on. This I found to be so much fun. Okay, so they announced for New York City Comic Con that Funko Pop is going to be releasing their version of the Goblin Queen, who is not nearly as sexy.
And it's because she's carrying baby Cable.
Yes, she has little baby Cable with her. So this is one of the first ones that they announced. But going along with this, and Leo, I'm just going to show my thing, and I see you have it pulled up down below. You can now pop yourself over there for $30 for the figurine and $38 if you would like it in a personalized box. So I made a little me. I have a skull, a ghosty friend I can have, and I'm holding a book. But yeah, so Leo has, share your screen on that. You go through, you can pick out 2 different accessories, a friend. They've been adding some new stuff for Halloween, and it's just so much fun.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So,
But I'm sorry, I love you all, but I don't like you enough to spend $30. So sorry.
Well, you can. I just think I thought it was real fun. I was trying to make them of everybody, and I'm like, no, I gotta stop because otherwise, then I'm gonna be like broke forever. And you can do babies. They have a little baby one on the side, and I was just like, oh my god.
Okay, Carrie, honey, when we're done, we need to close all the tabs. Okay, just for your own protection and your own wallet. Okay.
I didn't even order the one of myself. But for Christmas, if you have friends that are collectors, you could make them.
Oh, that's kind of like Carrie's hair. They just make it a little longer. That last one.
Yeah, they didn't have hair that was. They're like, oh, there's the long hairs, and I'm like,
you do not know long hair, sir.
You do not.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
So,
but they're saying that X-Men 97 one, the Goblin Queen, maybe they're dropping hints of that's what's going to be the storyline's going to be about.
She's going to turn into a Funko Pop.
That's pretty cool. I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, that would be definitely an interesting villain to start the series with, and it would definitely set a darker tone. So
she could meet up with Chucky, and that I really wanted to see like a franchise crossover, something like Puppet Master and Child's Play, and then like Funko Pop toys suddenly show up and start hanging out with them.
And they're killers too?
Yes. Well,
yeah. Carrie, so you're pitching your horror version of Toy Story, and I'm just going to say we're good.
Okay.
Yeah. Good try, honey.
All right. I'll try harder next time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Stop creating Funko.
Leo, put it down.
Oh,
moving on.
One more accessory to add. Let him have his fun.
No.
You get 2 accessories. So you got to pick out.
Leo, I swear to God, put it down. Okay, Carrie, take control. More news.
Okay.
Right. So continuing stuff that's not related to Funko. More Greg Capullo goodness. Greg will be doing the covers for 2 of the upcoming issues of Moon Knight. So Moon Knight issue 30 And then Vengeance of Moon Knight. So Moon Knight issue 30 is going to be part of Jed McKay and Alessandro Cappuccio's hit run of Moon Knight. So it's basically been hinted at that will be the end of Mark Spector at the hand of his nemesis, Black Spectre. And by the way, I'm Spector and then Spectre. Big difference. So just had to make that sure. But then in January, we will see Vengeance of Moon Knight, where an all-new Moon Knight will rise. So Capullo will be doing both covers. As always, the covers look amazing. The Moon Knight issue 30 will be available December 13th, and Vengeance of Moon Knight issue 1 will be available January 3rd. So,
All right.
Cool.
We're gonna go back to Joker. Why do I keep doing that?
All
Velvet
right.
Joker.
So, as we all know, Barbara Gordon gets shot in the
She does.
spoilers.
And she becomes Oracle. So the question came 2 weeks ago when the second to last to the season finale of the Harley Quinn series, Joker shoots Batgirl. And here we are in the result. And in the last episode, she even takes it a step further. She is in the wheelchair. She is Oracle. They have made this a canon event. And I think it's so cool and such an homage to the comics. I love. A lot of people didn't like this season. I thought this season was great. The writing is phenomenal on this show. A lot of fun, a lot of homages. Again, I can't say enough about it. I love this series.
Okay. Well, hey, listen.
They also referenced Birds of Prey and what was the other group they mentioned? Or was it a parody of Birds of Prey?
Probably.
Yeah,
I love the bottle of booze. They're like, we're gonna get wrecked. Yeah.
Sirens. It was Sirens, Leo.
Gotham City Sirens, right? Harley, Ivy, Selena.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So you were correct.
And
Listen, Oracle's a bold move, so all power to them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
wrapping up the news tonight, we have one last little bit.
Yes. So more for people who are excited about Al Ewing and Martin Coacolo's Immortal Thor run. They are going to be introducing an all-new Thor Corps in Immortal Thor issue 5. Now, for those who don't know, the Thor Corps were created by Tom DeFalco and Pat Leaf. The latter is someone we interviewed at Terrificon this year and is a total delight. They showed up in Mighty Thor 440 in a limited series. So that was Beta Ray Bill, Eric Masterson, who, as we know, briefly succeeded Thor and would later become Thunderstrike, and Dargo Couture, incarnations of Thor. So the last time we had a Thor Corps was 1985. And then we also saw them kind of in Secret Wars. There was like a Thor Corps, but it was, am I saying it right? Is it Corps or Corpse?
Core.
It's Thor.
Core.
Okay, cool. I just make sure. Yeah, so there was Thors from all over the multiverse. So,
Very cool.
you know, so we're going to be seeing them now in as stated, Thoranos has returned, and to face him, the king of Asgard has gathered his army. So, if an army of storm gods could not stop the elder god of thunder, what then? So, Alex Ross's cover, we see other characters have wielded Mjolnir over the years. So, Jane Foster, Beta Ray Bill, Loki, who was at one point the god Ekel, and of course, people forget this, X-Men Storm wielded Mjolnir at one point. But of course, it's an Alex Ross cover, so you know it looks beautiful. That will be Mortal Thor coming out December 13th. So
with that cover, that really gives me the feel like the old school outfit of Thor.
Yeah, definitely Al Ewing. He's been hyping up his Thor work, and I know people like myself who loved what he did with Hulk. I'm really excited to see what he's going to do with Thor. And I know me and Carrie over there are very excited to check that out. I know Carrie a little bit more because She's a bit more into Norse mythology than I am.
Yeah. Well, and Al Ewing, what he did with the Immortal Hulk was just like, so if he's giving Thor the immortal treatment, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. He's gonna run Thor through the ringer. But so that's, I think, is that all the news, Carrie?
I think that's pretty much all the news. It looks like Leo might have finished his pop version of himself. There we go.
You know what? It's your money.
Hey, he's holding a comic book and a microphone.
But
And-
what is that? Like, is
he serving dinner? Like,
is he wearing an apron?
So here's my thought: is you paint like a little snake tail coming out the pocket, splash some blood on it.
All right.
okay, hold on. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We had a great time tonight. I'm Drew. I'm going to speak for all these people here and say we had a wonderful time. All their social media are available. Do not contact Leo Pond for any reason, shape, or form. He's everywhere in the network. Your man Velvet J, you could see him on TikTok. You could see him on Instagram. He's also on Facebook. He's constantly making material, so he's busy. Carrie Sanders is over on her channel, the Owlite Army. She does a lot of stuff. She's very busy. She edits books. She reads a ton. And me, my name's Drew. I don't know why I'm still here, because these people drive me fucking up the wall more than a kid from Queens would. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. Thank you. Good night. I love you all. I'm so sorry.
All right.
If you would like to hear the further stories of Leo fighting the snake, so go over to the Owlite Network on YouTube and look under our Campfire Cinders. There are Leo stories. We broke them down into each story individually for you, so you can sit and read all of the adventures of Leo Pond, as well as other people. But yeah,
There you
I
go.
can just keep directing people there instead of
All
I
right.
just
So as
thought
we're
of something.
rounding almost 2 hours, Leo.
Yep, we'll catch you later. Bye.
Hi, everybody.
Night, night.